Hey, what's going on, friends? Thank you for joining us on another edition of the Ringside Rundown podcast. My name is Eric Vasquez. I am one half of the hosting duties here for the podcast, and joining me on the line is my podcasting partner in crime. Yes, that rhymes. She is the excellence of podcast execution. She is the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be in wrestling podcasting. The Marty to my Sean, the animal to my Hawk in this podcast Legion of Doom, the Stone Cold to my cerebral assassin in this two-person power trip of a podcast coming straight from the Berg. She is Shay Hickson. Shay, how you doing?
That was a good one. That's probably your best one yet. I like that one.
I actually had to write that down because I felt it was going to be so good.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you did. That was a really like I said, I'm glad you do that because I could never top any of these that you do. I'd be like, it would just like it would come to me and then it would leave. But
it would just be like, here's my co-host.
This is like I don't know what words are. I don't know what a normal coherent sentence is as an introduction, but we're just gonna do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I'm doing good. Counting down the days. Almost we'll be in Cleveland in a few days, so I'm
Nice.
looking forward to it.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. A lot of people already jumping in Cleveland. I seen a couple people post some stuff that they're already in Cleveland for SummerSlam, and that is exactly what we're going to be talking about this evening on this episode. It is SummerSlam week. This weekend is SummerSlam Saturday, 7 p.m. from Cleveland Brown Stadium. Shay will be in attendance with our glorious mother of the podcast, her mom. They'll be in attendance, Cleveland Brown Stadium. I know you're excited. It should be a good time.
I am. The only thing that I'm gonna hate is that I'm gonna have to be in that stadium because you understand. Like that would be like the equivalent of you having to go to Fenway Park. Like
yeah, I'd rather set myself on fire than have to sit through a bunch of people singing Sweet Caroline. So I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Just don't
the
wear
colors.
don't wear any Steelers gear. That's all.
I mean, I might most likely wear my 412 hat because supposedly it's supposed to be really humid. So I'm like, I need at least some type of like head cover. And the only thing I want to bring is my 412 hat. And they won't know what that is anyway. It's fine. But
I hope not.
That's just the problem with these. I was talking to mom about it this weekend. I said, leave it to us to go to two shows in our sports cities, like rival teams. You have Philadelphia just because it's Philadelphia, and then you have Cleveland. So of course all of the colors for these shows fucking suck, but I have to bite the bullet and just buy the merch because like you have to. You gotta buy the merch, you gotta spend money, so
that's how this thing works. That's what they want you to do is spend money.
Yeah, I will, unfortunately. It's just hate that it's Cleveland, but you know what? I can give it a pass. If I can survive Philly, I can survive Cleveland. So no, I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, it should be a good time. I'm excited to watch it. I'm excited that you're going to be in the building to give us a firsthand account.
You may see me. You never know.
Yeah, you might become famous. Like, do some crazy sort of reaction if something crazy happens. Like if Roman shows up, which we're going to discuss the possibility of later. If he does, just lose your mind, go crazy. You could be the next Brock Lesnar guy, just making a funny face that'll live on for 10 years.
Oh God, I hope not. I'm a very shy person, so any type of publicity like that would probably be my worst nightmare. But we'll deal with it if the time comes. But we'll see.
All right. So for any new listeners here, we usually do, this is a question and answer based podcast where the listener gets the opportunity to ask us questions and give their opinions about what's going on in wrestling today. But occasionally for shows like SummerSlam and all that stuff, we want to dedicate the episode to giving our opinions about the show, what we think is going to happen, what we want to see happen, and those things alike. So I'm assuming probably for next week, we're going to give our review, obviously our match ratings for the show. So be prepared if you're a new listener to get tonight, you're going to hear, or today, whenever you listen to it, you're going to hear a preview for SummerSlam, and then next week you'll hear a recap of SummerSlam, and then we'll get back to our regularly scheduled format where you guys can send us in questions. But again, we wanted to give you a little bit of our expertise, basically, when it comes to SummerSlam, a very hotly I guess debated event because it's the biggest event since maybe WrestleMania in terms of just WWE. However, they've been on a hot streak with their events, with their shows, that it seems like every week is a big week. It just seems like 60,000 plus people in an arena. It's SummerSlam, which is billed as the party of the summer. It should be a big deal.
It is. I mean, like you said, they don't call it the biggest party of the summer for nothing. So I'm expecting some wild things to happen, and I'm not talking about the live performance from Jelly Roll. That's the one thing I'm not looking forward to in the show. I was praying it wasn't going to happen, but
It's gonna
eh,
happen.
I'm just biased because I just don't like country music. So I'm like, this
Yeah,
is great.
yeah,
Same
it's
thing
not.
with the theme. Like the theme's okay. Don't get me wrong, but when you go from Gasoline by the Weekend, which has been stuck in my head since April, to this, it's a bit of a change. But
I feel like they did it to spite you.
I think they might have. They're like, all right, you had it too good for WrestleMania. Now you're going to get stuck with fucking country music in Cleveland, but
Yeah,
I'll
I hear you.
persist.
I hear you. Well, we're gonna get through this. I'm gonna hold your hand. No jelly roll involved.
Thank
No
God.
country music involved. Just you and I. We're gonna be talking about the card. Not only that, we're gonna give our most anticipated match and our sleeper match. But let's kick it off. I'm gonna kick it off very interesting. I would usually save this for the top of the card, but being that this card has 7 matches instead of 5, and 6 out of the 7 are for titles. I feel like this is a very interesting way to start off this podcast with our analysis and predictions for this match. I'm talking the highly anticipated grudge match. This is straight beef on site, no
Yeah,
talking. This is just, I mean,
throwing hands.
one man has threatened to not stop beating the other until they're no longer alive, basically.
Yeah,
So this is a big deal. I'm talking CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. No titles involved, just pride, animosity, a bracelet that has his wife's and dog's name.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
crazy. It's insane. We did polls in the Discord server, and it's still neck and neck between who people want to see
yeah.
win between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. I would ask you what your anticipation level for this match is, but I would predict it's got to be near a 9 or a 10.
Yeah, it's pretty damn high. I feel like I was trying to figure out what my most anticipated match was, but I feel like it's kind of stuck between two, and I feel
Hmm.
like it's not very difficult to figure out which two matches are for me, but this is definitely one of them for
Yeah.
sure. Like my thing is, and we were literally just talking about this before we went on the air. Something else has to happen. Maybe
Mm.
not with this match, but I feel like there's something or certain things, multiple, that may have to like happen before this show because yeah, we got 7 matches, which we're not going to complain about. 6 of your titles are being defended. That's also not anything we're going to complain about. But there needs to be something. Like, they're all
Mm.
singles matches, too. There's no stipulation, no nothing. So it's like the closest you have to stipulation is Seth Rollins is the referee. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like,
But I mean, Seth did say like he's not going to be the typical referee to count the 3 count at the proper cadence and call it down the middle. He's going to be a referee of chaos, which is if he feels
yeah,
like doing something, if he feels like enacting a 20 count instead of a 10 count, he feels he has full authority. But one thing I wanted to bring up to you that I thought was very interesting is something that Drew McIntyre said during the promo segment on Raw that I thought was brilliant, and
yeah,
it showed that why CM Punk is will go down in history as one of the best in terms of building up anticipation for a match. But Drew McIntyre said directly to Seth at one point, "You may have compassion for him and you may want to stop the match, but it's in your hands basically because I'm not going to stop until he's no longer breathing." I feel like
yeah,
that's going to play a part in the actual match where
yeah,
Drew's going to go crazy. He's going to be beating down CM Punk so badly that the compassion inside of Seth Rollins is going to want to stop the match, and he's starting to feel bad for CM Punk. And right when he thinks about stopping the match for mercy for CM Punk instead of lashing out at Drew McIntyre lashes out at Seth Rollins. He
that'd be
lashes out.
good.
Yeah, and then when he lashes out at Seth Rollins, it snaps Seth Rollins back into reality to the sense that no, this is CM Punk. The
Yeah.
that you completely despise, completely hate, completely think that is a cancer for WWE. And I feel like that's going to play a factor. I also think there might be an element of SummerSlam 1997 where Shawn
Mm.
Michaels was the special guest referee for Bret the Hitman Hart and The Undertaker. And we all know the finishing sequence where Bret spits in the face of Shawn, and
Yeah.
Shawn has a steel chair. And when he goes to whack Bret with the chair, Bret ducks and he just cracks The Undertaker, costing The Undertaker the match and the WWE Championship. I feel like this has an element of that where, like, again, either because Drew thinks it's a mutual respect, and Seth is like, nah, I don't even like you. So, like, I don't understand
Yeah.
what the deal is. But I feel like that's also going to play a factor where, like, Drew's going to start poking at Seth because he knows he's vulnerable and he can tick him off, and that's going to bode well for CM Punk. So I feel like there's an element of that SummerSlam 1997. If you haven't seen it, go back on Peacock. It's one of my favorite WWE events of all time. Every match was fire, but I feel like it's going to be like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be chaotic. I think at least that's a good. Like, it's a good point you brought up. Like the element of you have no idea what the hell is gonna happen,
Yeah.
especially in this match. It's almost to the point of I guess it actually doesn't even need a stipulation because Seth Rollins is the stipulation,
Right.
literally.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And like I said before when I started this match, it's beef on site. Like, remember how we talked about Swerve and Hangman, Peter Griffin versus the Chicken and Family Guy?
yeah, yeah,
It's like this between Punk and Drew McIntyre is like every single Chicken fight combined into one. I honestly I feel scared for CM Punk because at one
yeah.
point during the promo, Drew McIntyre is running down every single bad thing that CM Punk has done to him, and CM Punk is laughing in his
Hmm.
face. He's like openly laughing in his
Yeah,
face.
yeah.
I don't think that's a good idea. And honestly,
No.
Punk has been from WrestleMania, the Raw after WrestleMania, Clash at the Castle. CM Punk is 3 for 3 right now, but you can't
Mm,
keep up that hot streak no matter how good of a baseball player you are. I
no.
think I think this is going to be the one where Drew McIntyre snaps. He might beat down CM Punk. We might see a bloodied CM Punk. Honestly, it's one of those things. Like, again, we all know my feelings about blood in wrestling. Sometimes I feel it's overdone, it's unnecessary, but
Yeah.
they do say that blood tends to add more to a match. So imagine the scene where at the end of the match, both men are beating the shit, but CM Punk is the one covered in blood, and Drew McIntyre stands tall.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I feel like yeah, it was fun being vindicated every time Punk would screw McIntyre over, but it's gonna run out at some point. It was gonna be SummerSlam because I think McIntyre just gives no fucks at this point. So
Yeah.
if he kills the guy, he kills the guy. Like, it's kind of just is what it is. But
Yeah.
it's gonna hurt. It's gonna definitely, yeah, it's definitely gonna
Yeah.
hurt. And it's gonna be entertaining,
Oh yeah.
painful. It's gonna be a car crash. It's not even gonna be a car crash. It's gonna be a plane crash. It's gonna be insane.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think this is my most anticipated match because as a fan, you could just feel the hatred that these men have
Yes.
for each other. Like, you feel it. It's like it's a miracle they didn't start fighting during that promo segment on Raw because they were throwing some barbs at each other. Not only that,
Mhm.
but like it's one of like CM Punk's best promos. He was just on the top of his game, just analyzing and tearing down Drew McIntyre and why Drew McIntyre is the way he is. To CM Punk, Drew McIntyre gets in his own way, which is why he's not where he wants to be.
Which is true.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's gonna be the way I see it. I picked Drew McIntyre. Who do you have?
Oh, McIntyre, easy.
McIntyre. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to see when that happens. Next up, like we said, the rest of the matches going forward will be title matches, and we're going to kick it off with the WWE Intercontinental Championship, where Sami Zayn, the champion, will be defending the title against main roster newcomer, the absolute unstoppable beast that is Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker, I like the little backstage promo deal that they did.
Yeah.
It made him look like he's unhinged,
Hmm.
both mentally and physically. I mean, he's been running all over the place. He's been he's been booked exactly the way he needed to be booked to make him look like what WWE wants him to look like. They want him to look like the unstoppable monster, probably like a step up of a WCW Goldberg, you know?
Yeah, yeah, except better.
Yeah, yeah, better in almost every single metric.
Yeah.
We predicted this to go down exactly the way that it was going to go down, between Sammy retaining at Money in the Bank to give Braun this big moment at SummerSlam. I
Hmm.
Yeah, and I think the element of Braun willing to admit that maybe he underestimated Sammy, but he's not going to make the same mistake twice. I think that plays into a factor. Braun, this is a big stage, and I feel like Braun can perform bigger on the big stages, so I'm excited to see what he does. And with that, I believe, even though our Discord polls show that the community is neck and neck with who they think is going to win, I'm going to have to go with Braun Breaker, and I'd say my anticipation level for this match is like at a 7. What about you?
Anticipation level for sure. I was definitely surprised that our Discord was split on this because you literally took the words right out of my mouth. Because I mean, how we even called this,
Mm-hmm.
we called this a little bit ago, where it was like, okay, Sammy wins originally, or like at first, because if you're still the rookie,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can still pull some tricks out that you don't know anything, and Braun's not going to make that same mistake twice, and we love Sammy, but
Hmm.
it's just it's a matter of time. The way
Yeah.
Braun's been going, you can't stop him for long.
Right.
And yeah, the whole argument of, well, you need to have people win the titles on the smaller pay per views, blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, but we talked about that last a couple episodes ago, where it's like it's the big one of the big four pay per views for a reason.
Right.
You
Right.
need to have these like big moments on these big pay per views.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Sammy's not going to be able to get lucky twice. So yeah, no, Braun's winning the title.
Right. Yeah. And to your point, when it comes to what people want as a fan, a lot of people seem to gloss over the money aspect of and the business aspect of WWE and why they're a $1 billion company.
Hmm.
They can't just placate everything. They can't give everyone everything they want out of their favorites. They have to build up the big four pay-per-views to generate the most money, not only for WWE but for the city. Because if they generate a bunch of money for the city's going to want them to come back. You see, it's
Yep.
not a situation like AEW where AEW has to pay to get into these markets. They have to pay to have All In at Wembley Stadium. No, when it comes to WWE, the cities, the governments of these cities pay WWE to come into their city and hold these events because they
Yeah.
know it's going to generate money for them.
Just look at
Um,
Indianapolis.
yeah, exactly. It's a money making thing. This is a business, so people tend to overlook that fact in terms of why certain things happen on big shows that we want to see on the smaller shows. But here's the thing, like I see a lot of people bitching that the pre-show is going to be 3 hours long and there's not going to be any matches. And
Yeah.
one of my good friends that I follow on Twitter, he made a good point. He says, "Here's the thing, pro tip: you don't have to watch the pre-show. You don't have
No.
to." And not
No.
only that, but they're using the thing like, okay, there's a bunch of big matches happening on Raw and SmackDown coming off of SummerSlam, and they put them on those shows, and people are like, well, why not put them on the pre-shows? Here's the thing, if they don't put it on the pre-show, you guys bitch and complain. if
Yeah.
they if they do put it on the pre-show, you guys bitch and complain that Raw and SmackDown are boring. So it's like, what do you guys want?
What do you want?
What do you
Like
want?
what the
Like,
fuck do you want?
you want
Yeah.
Raw and SmackDown to not be boring, but you want big matches to happen on every pay-per-view.
Yes.
How does that make sense? Where's the logic in that?
There isn't any.
There isn't any.
There really isn't any, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's mm.
It's insane, this logic of these new wrestling fans. But again, I'm really excited for Braun and Sammy. They're gonna go and tear the roof off the place. And then you think about like what happens going forward, with
Yeah.
Braun. winning the Intercontinental Champion. Maybe that pushes Sammy to the main event level. Sami Zayn versus Damian Priest for a title, or Gunther. It would be phenomenal if they can
Oh yeah.
if they revisit the whole Sami Zayn Gunther, for a title, which I know your mom and you probably don't want to hear. And actually, many members of our Discord community, I figured they all, even because we do have a lot of non-wrestling fans in the Discord community that are just there to support, that are turning slowly into wrestling fans.
We're
They
converting them, yeah.
yeah, they once they see Rhea Ripley,
Yeah.
they all of them, every single one of them go
Mhm.
crazy. Damian Priest is another big one, but we'll get to that later. But again, setting up Sami Zayn versus Gunther in the future, for the title, that's a big deal. There's a lot of avenues they can go building off of this one Intercontinental Championship match, which is great to see, because usually the WWE of before would put all their eggs in one basket in the main event.
Exactly. Hell, they might even be able to visit Dragunov too,
Dragunov Braun Breaker for the I think
yeah,
that's probably the way they're going to go, to be honest with you.
yeah,
I think,
because Dragunov has some beef.
yeah,
I mean, you knocked me out.
he's got legit beef. Braun, in wrestling sense, almost tried to break his ribs,
Yeah.
spearing him off the apron like that. So yeah, Dragunov, and I think that's what it is that WWE, when they called up Ilya Dragunov, it's so almost like the thing, like they don't want to give the fans all of Ilya just yet.
Oh no,
Yeah,
no, they're not ready.
yeah. It's not because, like, people who regularly watch NXT, you bring up Ilya Dragunov NXT, and it's like mortar shells just start hitting your brain, and you recall matches between Carmelo and the matches between Braun Breaker, and you realize how stiff and hard hitting they were, and then you realize, if you're really in the know, you can hop on Peacock. I think it's still there. Watch Gunther versus Ilya
Ooh,
Dragunov in NXT UK. Like,
yeah.
that was a violent match, a really violent match, to the point that I think if they do bring it to the main roster, it might need like a parental advisory disclaimer for violence that's going to happen. So again, with this Intercontinental Championship alone, the match itself is highly anticipated, and the potential of what's going to happen in the future is also highly anticipated. So it's really cool to see.
I completely agree. So this is definitely one to look forward to.
Oh yeah, for sure. Next up, we have for the WWE United States Champion, Valiant Champion Logan Paul, who defends the title like a
Sorry.
like a true workhorse. He's adopted the old adage
Oh.
of uh, you know Monday through Saturday and twice on Sunday. He's a fighting champion if there ever is one. He's Logan Paul, the
Mhm.
Maverick, taking on the megastar, the man that's got everybody talking. I'm talking about L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is, according to the Discord community, overwhelmingly in favor of LA Knight. I'm actually excited to see this match, simply because I predict that it's going to be LA Knight's big moment. All of his hard work and his organic popularity that he's cultivated with the WWE universe, I feel like it's going to pay off. Again, this is why you have the big moments, the big matches on the big pay-per-views. It's going to be awesome where when he finally takes that belt off of Logan Paul, he's celebrating, and you got 60,000 people doing the LA Knight yeah thing. It's going to be fucking insane.
And you know what's funny about it? It's going to literally be in Logan Paul's hometown. And I
Right.
am going to laugh. I am going to laugh so fucking hard because I'll be interested to see how split that crowd is.
Right.
Because, yeah, it's hometown, whatever, but people love LA Knight. So I will laugh if LA Knight gets a bigger reaction than Logan Paul.
Which
And
you
I
will.
will and I will laugh even more when LA Knight beats him for that title because, once again, Cleveland chokes.
Yeah.
Cleveland's going to choke again.
Why would
So,
you do that? You're trying to create some enemies before you even step foot into Cleveland. Like,
Because they know it. That's the worst part. They know it because they have no room to talk at all. Like, they don't. But
You're like me with the city of Philadelphia.
yeah, yeah. Literally, I mean, I also do the same to people with Philly, but no. LA Knight's winning, and I will laugh all night. All
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for I just feel like it's like they're putting as much stock into this as they would a WrestleMania, which is cool to see,
Yeah.
and it's just everything falls into place. And, 3 for 3 so far in terms of anticipated matches. And we both got LA Knight winning. The community that we have on Discord is overwhelmingly for LA Knight. I think it's mainly because, Logan Paul, which means he's good at his job. People want to see Logan Paul get the shit kicked out of him, you know?
Yeah, yeah, they do.
Yeah,
God.
so and it'd be great if like because Logan Paul, because he's a smart, savvy businessman, no matter how much of a POS person he is, he
Mhm.
he he resides in Puerto Rico to avoid certain taxes. So it'd be
Yeah.
great because they do bill him from Puerto Rico by way of Cleveland, Ohio. If they don't even mention Cleveland, Ohio, if they just
I
mention that, which would hurt me because as a Puerto Rican, I'm like, he's not really from Puerto Rico. He's just
you're
a
like,
transplant.
we don't claim him.
Yeah, we do not claim Logan Paul Prime Boy at all, but
Prime.
I think it would be funny to get under the skin of people to just completely dismiss that he's in his hometown. Also,
Yeah.
it would be great. The host
What?
of SummerSlam is The Miz, another person
Oh
from Cleveland,
no. Oh
another
boy.
another person from Cleveland. So I don't know what I would do is a backstage segment. Like you're getting an interview
Yeah.
with Logan Paul before his big match against LA Knight. And Logan Paul, instead of talking about LA Knight, takes time to run down the city of Cleveland,
Yeah.
calling it all types of names that it's going to make Shay feel good inside. You
Yeah, I'll just be
know?
like, yep, yeah, he's
Yeah,
right. He's
he's right.
right.
But in earshot distance is another Cleveland boy by way of the Miz, who's like, I'm not really vibing with you taking a dump on my city. I think
Yeah.
that would be great to revisit the feud of Logan Paul and the Miz, where Logan Paul, as good as he was then, is even more seasoned, more polished, where they can imagine Logan Paul and the Miz going back and forth on the microphone. And after all that Miz has been through in his career, between being bullied and ostracized and the fans hating him to this point in his career where he is one of the most respected people in the wrestling business, like yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
insane if they go that route. And that literally just came off my dome. I don't understand why I
Yeah.
don't have a job with the WWE. They're slacking.
I know they're missing out. They're really
They're
missing
missing
out.
out, but I think we both have LA Knight winning. Again, I don't even know why we're talking about our anticipation levels for each match because the
Yeah,
entire
really.
card, the entire card is flawless. It's flawless.
Literally.
Yeah, because they're making each individual thing important. If it's on TV, no matter where it is on the card, if it's on TV, it's important. It's not throwaway. Even
Yeah.
the little Easter eggs. You look and you see
Oh,
Easter
don't even
eggs.
get me started. Don't even get me started. I don't want to talk about it.
But the thing with the Easter eggs is it could lead to something. It could just be a nothing burger. You
Yeah.
put stock in what you want to. I know Shay's a little nervous because, and I think you should bring this up because I definitely think not a lot of people. I didn't see a lot of people bringing up that thing that you told me, but
You just want me to suffer, don't you?
yeah, I
Just
mean,
say it.
well, no, you say because
I know, I meant no. I said you just
you're
want me to suffer. Just admit it.
yeah, no, I definitely do after what you put me through this past
Yeah.
week. You're this is your
Yeah.
penance.
All right, fine. But then I also noticed something too because I have Twitter up as we speak as well. But I'll bring up that Easter egg in a minute. But the one I'm forced to talk about because Eric's mean is if you go back and watch the backstage promo with Damage Control and Dakota's cutting the promo, which is a great promo by the way. I love that ending line before we get to the bad part. I love the ending line of when she's like, we're gonna stamp out this little like movement when I cut the head off the snake. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, let's fucking go. This is gonna be great. Until I looked in the background and saw the Wyatt Six logo behind her, and I'm like, you stay away from Dakota. Except it, unfortunately, as no, as much as it's gonna make me sad and nervous, it makes sense though. They're going after people who've betrayed their family, and Damage Control betrayed their families, so yeah, so I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. If those lights go out, I'm diving through the TV. You already know I am. But another Easter egg I just caught on to because someone else caught it before I did. If you go back and look to when somebody, since we don't know who, somebody destroyed the Judgment Day's like clubhouse,
Right.
which is a travesty, by the way, especially the PS5. Like, how could you destroy the PS5? But um not only was someone theorizing that maybe it was Dominic that destroyed it and not Liv, just like catch like throw everybody off guard, which we'll get more to that whole thing with the actual match. But if you go back and look at like the banner that they have, everybody's crossed off or marked or something on that banner except for Finn Balor.
Mm.
So what if he's the snake in the grass and not Dominic?
A lot of snakes in the grass. This has a very mystery feel, like, who done it, sort of Game of Thrones-esque vibe to it. Like, everybody,
Yeah.
you gotta watch everybody, because everybody could be the snake. You can be the only sane person out of the group, and everybody around you is a snake.
Yeah. So, and it's, damn it, they've done a good job of being like, well, of course, Dom's the obvious choice, but is he though? But he has to be because of this. But
But
Finn could also be that too because he's also doing these things. So it's just like, who is the snake? Are there snakes? Are there no snakes? I mean, there's at least a snake. There's not just like, there's none. So somebody's the snake, but who is it though?
Yeah, it's funny. It's like you said, it's like, who is the snake? And I'm sure like people maybe who didn't watch Black and Gold era NXT are having the same feeling we did when they attacked Aleister Black in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that whole story of Aleister Black getting
Yes.
taken out in the parking lot, having to go away for a couple months, and ended up being Johnny Gargano of all people. But
Yeah.
the whole
Wild time.
yeah, the whole 2 months, everybody was like, who is this person in the parking lot? Just
And Nikki Cross was the only one that knew
she knew it. Oh my God, it was so good.
and tortured everybody.
When she jumped in the ring and he was like,
Oh,
he's coming. Like, why didn't they do anything with Nikki Cross and Aleister Black? Oh my God.
I know. And why didn't they just give Alistair a main event title match? But
I
that's
mean,
it.
but like, could you imagine like Nikki Cross the way she was in that time period, being that like crazy, electric, and she's just all she does is follow Alistair around, and for some reason he just tolerates it. Like
He's
he
just like,
doesn't
sure.
yeah, he doesn't even break. He just accepts her for the way she is, and she's like, oh, are you gonna play? Are we gonna play? Are we gonna play? And he's just like, yes, whatever you want, Nikki, whatever you want. And like,
Yeah, sure, whatever. Just like,
uh,
just help me out.
that would have been a beautiful pairing.
That
I
would
don't
have
know
been
whether
wild.
that would have been wild. But again, the point we're trying to make is this is Triple H booking 101. He is going to mind fuck you, and if
Make your
he
head
can,
hurt.
yeah, if he can tie your brain wires into multiple knots, he's gonna
He
do
will.
it. He's gonna do it because again, he does this thing where like, is that an Easter egg or is that just a thing that's there
Yeah.
coincidentally? So
But when you have the Wyatt Six logo that prominent in behind somebody who has known to be a snake,
yeah.
that one's a little too obvious to ignore as much as it's making me very very nervous.
What an unmasking by the Wyatt Six, by the way, which I think we have about, because it's much like you said. The great thing about that segment, like you said when we were talking in DMs, was it humanizes the Wyatt Six to the point where the wrestling sense. Remember, that was a big thing. Like, oh, this is cool, but how do we make it work in a wrestling sense? And
Yeah.
boom, there you have it. I don't understand how quickly a person can go dreads like Dexter Loomis and
Literally though.
doing his Rob Zombie cosplay. Joe Gacy looks even better than he did when he was doing the schism thing. That finisher deal that they had with the pop-up powerbomb to take out the other team. That's insane, man. That is
Wild.
it's gonna be really cool. And like you said, the best thing about it, it humanizes them. But what a moment when they took off those masks, and you're like, damn, they're creepier without the mask than they are
Yeah.
in the mask. Like the mask is a safety net.
Yeah, I think that's what I said too. I'm like, it humanizes them, but they still are terrifying.
Hmm.
Like, they just have that aura and that just feeling about them where it's like, mask or not, you just feel very uneasy.
Yeah.
And you just feel like the hair stand on the back of your neck where it's just like, ooh, someone's watching from behind me. And it's just like, oh, it's
Yeah.
good, but it's also like, ugh.
Yeah. So by the way, the Wyatt Six, three of the Wyatt Six will be making their in-ring debut. Whatever they're calling themselves, we'll just call them Joe Gacy, Eric Rowan, and Dexter Loomis. That contingent of the Wyatt Six will be taking on the Creed brothers and Chad Gable on Monday on Raw. So that's gonna be another one of those. Why isn't this on pay-per-view? Well, if it's on pay-per-view, then Raw is pretty boring. So we're gonna make Raw cool. We're
Yeah.
gonna make SummerSlam cool. It's all gonna be cool. So stop
As
complaining.
long as they could at least show up at SummerSlam, though. Just
Yeah,
because they're not wrestling doesn't mean they don't have to not show up. They can still show
right.
up.
It'd be cool to do like a segment or not even a segment, do a thing throughout the show where the
Yeah.
Wyatt Six is terrorizing Chad Gable and the Creed brothers throughout the entire show. And then the final segment is maybe they're running to escape and they end up in the ring area with all the fans and they're trying to get to the ring. And that's when you start doing the creepy shit with the music and the lights
Yeah.
going out and the smoke, and you do the creepy where they're standing there. If they do that stadium is gonna go insane because
Yeah. Oh, yes.
as soon as you hear those piano keys start clicking,
It's like it's over.
it's already, and that's the funniest thing because they debate this stuff online on the internet, whether it's working, whether it's not working, whether it's a
Yeah.
computer. None of that matters. All of that is inconsequential because as soon as if you're in the arena and you're watching the show from a audience perspective, as soon as they hit those keys in that song where it goes, "Dun, dun,"
Mm-hmm.
that place, and what's the first thing they do? You fucked up.
Fire.
You
Yeah.
fucked up. Like
Yep.
they literally have to censor it, and it's literally seconds before they even get to the ring. So it's like we have to gauge it by the audience that is there in the arena, the ones that are paying, sacrificing time and money to be there. Let's gauge their reaction because that's what matters most, not some people behind a keyboard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't listen to the internet wrestling fans sometimes. They don't know what they're doing.
I'd say a lot of times,
A good portion of them.
Yeah, don't listen to them at all. But getting back to SummerSlam, next match on the card we need to talk about is Bayley defending the WWE Women's Championship against the Queen of the Ring, the very much improved Nia Jax.
Yeah. This is, according to the Discord's a very tough one. It's split right down the middle.
Right down the middle.
I don't know. I mean, this is still going to be a good match. Again, like we can just get it out of the way. Every single match we're looking forward to for different reasons.
Yeah.
I, oh, I just have a feeling
Ooh,
that
you think they're gonna pull the trigger on Tiffany?
I was literally just,
Oh, that
I'm just like, what if just because Nia beats Bailey doesn't mean she walks out of Cleveland with that title? Because what if Tiffany's been using Nia to get to the title, where it's just like,
I love
oh, hey, good job, buddy, you did, and just like blast her in the head with that. I'm assuming pink briefcase now. I
it.
don't have they fixed the briefcase? I don't
No,
think they have.
they didn't even unveil a new briefcase, which is interesting because
Mm,
when Bailey did the deal, everybody's like, "Oh, she's getting a new briefcase." New
no.
briefcase didn't show up. Didn't Nia Jax say that she was going to get her a new briefcase?
Yeah. Oh, maybe that's like okay. All right. Now it's my turn to do the fantasy thing.
I know what you're
What
going to
if
say. I'm on you.
you
I'm already
you
on your level.
you know exactly what it is?
I,
So
I
they're gonna
think
do like
so.
a backstage segment before Bailey and Nia. And Tiffany's gonna be talking to Nia, and Nia's like, "Oh, hey, I just want like, thanks for like having my back this time, whatever. And as
Mhm.
promised, here's your briefcase." And Tiffany's like, "Oh, you shouldn't have, whatever." And then the match happens, and then Tiffany fully just stabs her in the back with that briefcase that she just got her. So
Can I say that in this moment right now, in the 3 years we've been partnered as a podcast partnership, I have never been more proud of you uh, my young little grasshopper of fantasy booking.
Sure.
Yeah, I've never been more proud of you because
My apprentice.
yeah, as soon as you said this is how it's gonna go, it clicked in my head and you spit it out exactly word for word,
Yeah.
exactly the way I would do it. That is perfect because again, Bailey did the thing with the briefcase, so you're expecting a new briefcase exactly the next week, and we didn't get it. That's oh,
Uh-huh.
and then that's gonna make you it's gonna once again they have this brilliant way of Nia Jax is a monster, and then something happens where they're able to humanize Nia Jax, and you're able to feel for her. They did it with remember when she had that WrestleMania match with Alexa Bliss, and they were
Yeah.
body shaming her,
Yep.
and Nia was there to hear it. It's gonna be that same deal. Like she does something nice for Tiffany because she believes in Tiffany, and then Tiffany uses it to stab her in the back, and
Yeah.
and from a human perspective, people are going to be like, well, that's not cool. And not only that, but Nia Jax is super charismatic. You know,
Yeah.
she,
Oh yeah.
she's super charismatic. So like she could do the face heel thing. She could be a good face, good heel.
Yeah.
But that is just brilliant. It almost because I'm excited for this match. If I had to pick a match that if I was ranking my anticipation level, this would probably be on the low end. But simply by that fantasy booking where Tiffany can do that to Nia, that amplifies what I want to see. It'll make Tiffany a dastardly villain, a
Yeah.
dastardly villain. It'll take away any sort of oh well they cashed in the money in the bank too quickly because I mean if the opportunity is there to hit a home run with a banger angle and set up a good angle you got to take it. And this is a
Yeah.
I speak about doing the most logical thing when it comes to booking. This is the most logical thing because I don't even think people are on that level where they anticipate Tiffany to turn on Nia. They don't anticipate
Yeah.
her to cash in because she's still it's only been since what a month or a month and a half or so that she's had the briefcase.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Yeah, about a
Yeah,
month.
yeah, and the thing is with the Money in the Bank briefcase, as great of a concept as it is, and as clutch as it can be in certain angles, it's just sometimes you can be creatively handcuffed because somebody
Yeah.
else has that briefcase and they have to figure out a way to set up a cash in failure or success by doing it this way already in August. They don't have to worry about trying to shoe in a Money in the Bank cash in spot or anything like that. They just get it out of the way. The angle, the way to do it is right there in front of them, so just go for it.
Yeah, because again, you have to like I hate wording it this way, but it's just the way that makes the most sense is that if you look at Tiffany Stratton and you look at Nia Jax, who do you think they want to put the title on more?
I mean, I
Tiffany
understand.
Stratton.
Yeah, she's more marketable. She's more marketable.
Yeah. So the problem is that you can't even really. I mean, it doesn't really suck for Nia because it's a very like. I mean, I mean, she's already reaping the benefits of her like improvement. She won Queen of the Ring,
Mhm,
which they've actually treated as something that's actually important.
mhm.
Finally, you get the title shot, you win it. I mean, you can't say that she didn't win it because that's the thing. At the end of the day, I feel bad for poor Bailey because we're not talking about her at all, but
Mhm.
you don't need to. If she loses, she'll be perfectly fine. I just still am pissed that we're not getting the original like damage control like triple threat, but whatever. It is what it is. But she's not gonna be hurt if she loses that title. She doesn't need that title.
Right.
Naya's not gonna really at that time need that title either because like we always love to say, everybody appreciates the chase story more than immediately winning it.
Right, right.
Which
Yep.
technically she does immediately win it, which I mean, this kind of goes against what I'm saying. But the point
Yeah.
is, she'll lose it because Tiffany stabs her in the back. Everyone's going to be like, oh, how dare you, Tiffany? That was rude. That was
Mhm,
ridiculous. How could you do that to Nia? People are going to maybe, because you never know how the crowds are going to go, would more generally sympathize with Nia
mhm.
like they did with her and Alexa Bliss. So then people are like, oh, I just can't wait for her to get her hands on Tiffany because she's going to destroy her and Tiffany's going to duck and evade her every chance he gets because she knows what she's up against. She just didn't really care at the time. She just saw, oh, I can get my title now. I don't really care about what's going to happen down the line.
Right.
And then there you go.
Right. Yeah, and it's just, again, the booking. The booking's right there in front of them, and like you said, Bailey. It's her, winning or losing for Bailey is inconsequential. We already know she's gonna go down as one of the greats. But like, there's this story of like Nia Jax coming back for her second run in WWE, vastly improving. No matter what Jeff Merchant says,
Yeah.
she is vastly improved in the ring in terms of using her power to advantage to make it a big deal, and also being a lot safer in the ring.
Yeah.
It's just, and that's the thing with Triple H, is that if you look at it, he does the simplest thing where he makes sure every aspect of every story has a human relatability aspect to it. You understand?
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
that's the easiest way for people to come on board if they can relate to it in some way. And that's what made the Attitude Era popular when Stone Cold was stunning Vince McMahon every other week on the show. It was like, yeah, I really wish that day and age, I really wish I could take my boss and just beat the shit out of him someday, you know?
Yeah.
And like,
Yep.
you know, they live vicariously through that. The human element in this is like, you know, just you have your guard up with people, you let it down to bring in one person, and that one person
Hmm.
screws you over and shows you why you
Yep.
have your guard up in the first place. It's one of the most relatable aspects of human nature in any aspect ever. So it's like, that's why people will get into this, and that's why the stories are so important in WWE. I used to be that person to be like, no, it's the match, the quality of the match, the
Yeah.
match. No, it's the story. It's the story that is most important.
Yeah, because the story has to get you to the match.
Exactly. Sell tickets. Sell
Hmm.
tickets. Exactly. So, I mean, I'm going with Nia simply because I believe Tiffany's going to do it.
Yeah, I agree. We'll
And
see. We'll see if we called another one.
could you imagine Tiffany less than 3 years into her wrestling career, from training till now,
Uh-huh.
wins the main WWE Women's Championship in front of 60,000 people?
Insane. Like, not many people could handle that kind of pressure, but I
Yeah,
feel like she can for sure, and
and that
she's going to.
yeah, it speaks to her ability, and it also speaks to WWE ability to just take, you know, anything and mold it into a golden goddess of a statue. Because again, Tiffany Stratton doesn't come from a wrestling background. She comes from a gymnastics background. She's able to take gymnastics, use it in her wrestling to make her one of the most unique performers on the roster. And not only that, she's as beautiful as Sable, Trish Stratus, and all the divas in the Attitude Era was. She brings that Attitude Era aesthetic
Yeah.
to some modern day hard hitting women's wrestling, which is awesome.
Yeah, I completely agree. She looks the part and backs it up too.
Yep, exactly. Now we get into the meat of shit that's been going down in WWE. And you want to talk about complex angles,
Hmm.
relatability, all those things that are making people tick for good or for bad when it comes to this angle. It all comes to a head this Saturday coming up. Liv Morgan will be defending the WWE Women's World Championship against the woman she vowed to take everything from, and she did, mommy Rhea Ripley. And I bring up that point that she vowed to take everything, and she did, because in the end, up until now, I mean, we have our theories, but on paper, Liv took everything away from Rhea, but when Dom trashed Liv and chose Rhea,
Yeah,
Rhea, in a sense, got everything that she lost back. But is
pretty
that,
much.
yeah? But is that the truth? Is there an intention behind that?
Okay, so for anyone who had no clue, this was the other match that is tied for like my most anticipated match for obvious reasons. Because, and I can kind of say this about one other match that we haven't talked about yet, but I, this is gonna hurt me to say it because it's like, it's just, it makes no sense for Rhea to win the title right away.
Mhm.
because my one friend and I have talked about it. It's funny. My two of my friends are also wrestling, and they're on Team Live, so
Mm.
obviously they're the enemy for the next like few days. And we've even joked about it. We're like, all right, so I guess we're gonna hate each other until after Saturday. But I was talking to them, and I'm like, okay, guys, I'm Team Rhea always and forever, except I just have this feeling, and I feel like it just makes the most sense that she's not winning the title
Mm.
because, and I don't think it's because she's getting beat clean. That's not the case. Like, if we're going based off of sheer just power and just determination, Rhea would destroy Liv in 5 seconds. But somebody is going to screw her over. The thing is, and the thing that is just why I've been looking forward to this match for months, is because we have no fucking idea what's going to happen.
We
We
don't.
have no clue who's going to screw her over. Like,
Right.
is it going to be Dominic? Is it going to be Finn? Sure as hell not going to be Damien. Damien and her, like,
Mm, yeah.
terror twins. That's not going to happen. But it's just like, in what I again same thing with Triple H, where you think you know something and then he's gonna pull a promo or a segment or something that's gonna have you second guessing. Perfect example, when Liv started burning all of that stuff, all the pictures
Hmm.
of her and Dominic, the shirts and whatever, he got me because I'm just like, what if he really did pick Rhea over Liv? What if she's not, this isn't some elaborate like plan that her and Dominic have to just like screw Rhea over? I'm like, what if they actually aren't like scheming together? And then once you saw the whole like trash in the clubhouse and people being like, maybe it's not Liv, it's Dominic, or maybe why is Finn's the only face not crossed out? So I'm just like, God damn it, they keep just like pulling me back and forth as to what's gonna happen. Um, I mean, is the match going to be great? Absolutely. These two
Hmm.
have chemistry, obviously. It's very obvious. But it's just a matter of what's going to happen. It's like we know, I mean, I'm sure you're in the same agreement. We know how we know what's going to happen. We know the ending is going to be Liv is still going to be the champion. It's just how are we going to get there?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just going to be it's going to be fun. um I completely didn't realize this until they officially made the match, like the graphic and everything. I'm like, I literally saw Rhea's last match that she wrestled in Philadelphia at WrestleMania, and now I get to see her come back in her first match back. Like, it's insane to me. I was like, obviously because everyone knows I love Rhea, so this is like a cool kind of thing for me. But as cool as it is, it's not going to be cool seeing her lose.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of who's screwing her over. Because again, I love Liv, don't get me wrong. It would make no sense for her to beat Rhea clean. Um, because of course Rhea is going to get her revenge at some point. She's going to get the title back. But somebody's going to screw her over in the process to get to that point.
Right.
I just don't know who that's going to be. Could be
Right.
Dom, could be Finn. I don't see it being anybody else. It's going to be one of those two, but it's just a matter of who is it really going to be?
Yeah, yeah. Either way, they're gonna piss off Carlito because he's finally gonna figure out who destroyed the PS5 in the clubhouse.
Literally.
He's not gonna be happy. No, but seriously, I'm in lockstep with everything that you said. It's just there's so many layers to this story. Again, you don't know who did what, who's gonna do what, who's siding with who. If it's some sort of collusion, some sort of in cahoots. Uh,
It'll be well played.
Liv is a phenomenal actress if that's the case,
Yes. The
because
tears.
the tears, because I expected her when Dom was running her
Yeah.
name through the mud, I expected her to
Mm-hmm.
turn around and do that little
Smile.
smirk, like,
Yeah.
everything is going according to my plan, but that didn't
Same
happen.
thing.
Yeah, that didn't happen. And then she does the burning thing and she looks absolutely psychotic. Like,
Unhinged.
yeah, she looks like the typical crazy ex-girlfriend that you have to change your number 10 times to get rid of.
Literally
Like,
though. So it's that weird thing of like, is this some elaborate plan? And if they do, I will give them props because they had me going for months at a time.
right.
But if it's not, then what the hell else is going to happen? But these are these Triple H specials where you just don't know what's going to happen. And it's just that anticipation of just like, as you can tell, like, I have a feeling as this match is like getting towards the end, I'm just going to be like sliding further and further to the edge of my seat because it's just
Yeah.
like, what's going to happen? Something's got
Right.
to happen. This is just like that they're setting something up.
Right.
Like, something's got to go down. Like, it's going to be so much fun. Like, this is probably the match I'm most looking forward to out of sheer bias, but still.
And the thing is too, like, fantasy booking wise, I was always of the thing like Dom was gonna screw Rhea to align himself with Liv, and then Jey Uso was gonna be the one to swoop in and kind of defend Mommy, and that
Yeah.
will set that off. But again, Finn Balor is sort of the wrench in the whole deal. Like, what is his intentions? Because he's starting to look like he realizes that there's a pecking order in the Judgment Day and he's not at the top. He's down there. He's
Yeah.
like, he may be a level above JD, and that's crazy because he's the one that trained JD to get
Yeah.
into wrestling. So that could be something in his head
Mhm.
where it's like, I'm fucking Finn Balor. I'm the very
Yeah.
first ever Universal Champion in WWE's history.
Yeah.
I'm this, I'm that. Like, I'm a first ballot Hall of Famer. Who are you
Yeah.
to be running me down and making it seem like my decisions don't mean anything within this clubhouse? So,
But then they do that thing though where they turn right around and after he
right,
gets absolutely demolished by Gunther, Damien comes to back him up. So it's just like, what is going to happen? And it's not even just Liv and Rhea's match and Damien and Gunther's match, which I'm assuming we're gonna get to next, but it's just like something wild's gonna happen. I just have a feeling. I mean, they're not gonna put Liv and Rhea and Damien and Gunther back to back. They'll probably put
probably sandwich. The probably I would do Cody solo,
as
live.
a main event.
No, 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 no,
Oh.
no.
Oh.
Actually,
Oh. Uh-huh.
now you just
Yeah.
messed me up because there's only
Yeah.
3 men. You could do,
I was the wrench this time.
yeah.
Because if something happens with Cody and Solo, it's going to have to be at the end of the
At the
show. They won't
end,
do that at the end.
yeah,
They won't
yeah,
do that anywhere but the end.
yeah, yeah. You're right. So,
Mhm.
so I would sandwich Liv and Rhea in between Damien and Gunther. Go Damien, Gunther, Liv, Rhea, Cody, Solo. Big moment at the end to close the show.
Or they, I also won't even be surprised if they have the women open the show because they do. Triple H does love doing that.
Right.
So,
But either way, the
yeah.
women not inventing is going to piss off people on the internet, and they won't even realize that it has a purpose.
I
You
mean, I'll
know,
be disappointed, but it's like I understand it. Like
but
it makes sense.
Well, we'll talk about why I think that way, but if it happens, I mean, if that moment that I think is going to happen happens
Yeah.
any other spot except the very ending of the show, if it happens before the ending, the rest of the
Yeah.
show is going to fucking bomb. It's going to
Yes.
because the energy is going to be spent, the emotion's going to be spent. That's why
Yeah.
you save it for the end so people go home happy,
Mhm.
so yeah, I mean, you can complain on the internet all you want, but if that's the case of what we think is going to happen, you got to go with that. You got it. It's
Yeah. You
entertainment
have to.
business. Yeah, it's entertainment business 101. But yeah, I don't know who to pick. I think yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I
it's one
mean,
of those things like you don't want to go against like you don't want to go against your heart, but your mind says yeah that I don't I think Rhea I think Rhea's got a lot of targets on her back from people that she doesn't even think would put a target on her back.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. She made a lot of enemies during that title reign.
as yeah, especially and it's the way that she used Dominic. She used Dominic
Yeah,
like a little puppy on a leash, right? And then when that puppy got loose when she wasn't paying attention because she was hurt, and that puppy wandered into the yard of Liv Morgan, Dominic got a sense of what he's worth. So when he went to go back to
yeah,
mommy and he went, Mommy, you belong to me. And she was like, I don't belong to anyone, but you belong to me. I'm gonna lick your face. Like, yeah, that
yeah,
that was nice and all, but I think in Dom's mind, for the first time in his career he kind of grew a set and realized, hey, wait a
Yeah.
second. I mean, I don't agree with what he said. I don't think anybody is anybody else's property, but I'm saying in the
No.
sense of, from a psychological aspect, it's like, do you even value me? Do you even respect me? Do you even see me as an equal, or just your puppet, your little do good boy?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's so uh there's there's like 4 or 5 different elements of human nature within this one story that is just incredible, but everybody wants to go and point fingers at Liv doing a little twirl. Like, enjoy it. Stop being a little, you know what.
Yeah. Like, just shut up and enjoy
Yeah,
it.
exactly. So I'm gonna go with Liv retaining, and some sort of shenanigans and fuckery is going down that we're gonna be like, oh shit. It's like
I'm just gonna I'll be just like, "It's fucking happening, god damn it," and then both of my friends are gonna feel so goddamn vindicated, and they're
yeah.
gonna be so happy, like, quick sidebar, you guys will appreciate this, so both of my friends that also are into wrestling do drag, and I was at one of their, or both of them were actually at a brunch, Sunday, and one of them and I go back and forth where we're just like, yeah, well, you know what? Like, if he was like, if Liv wins, I'll do a Liv number. If Rhea wins, I guess I'll do a Rhea number. I'm like, you fucking better. I will hold you to that.
Yeah,
Whatever.
that
So we're just
burger
going.
would probably be fire too.
I would pay money to see that, and most of those are free. But so I wanted to be a bit of a like shit, and I'm not gonna say what my full plan is because just in case they listen to this, I don't want to spoil the surprise. But I had asked them if they wanted me to get them anything from SummerSlam, and they're like, "Oh, if you could get like a cup, that would be nice." I'm like, "Yeah, that's easy. That should be anywhere in that arena." And and then he's like, "Well, I mean, if you could be bothered, if you could find a Live shirt for me." And I'm like, "All right, you're starting to push it. You're like, I don't even want to hear." I'm like, "Whatever. I'll see what I can do." So who knows? We'll see what happens. If I just happen to find one and then just let someone pick it up, then that's a shame. But so they were performing, and I took a pen and I grabbed like one of the dollars I was gonna tip them, and I scribbled Team Rhea on the dollar and like held it up for them when they came over. And they were so fucking pissed. They just like ripped the dollar out of my hand and like walked away and kept the number going. So the
A-
second number
a
I
c-
had just like a regular. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say a consummate performer. you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, if everybody else saw their face, it wouldn't have it wouldn't have been the professional. But so then they come back for the second number, and I had a regular dollar, and I like flipped it so they saw that it was an empty dollar. There was like nothing on it. We grabbed it. I was like, Team Liv. I'm like, no, Team Rhea. But I can at least admit, even though I am Team Rhea, I'm not expecting her to win. But I just want to see her beat Liv up a lot because I think that's going to happen. But
yeah, it's gonna be
it's
good.
fine.
It's gonna be good. She's been out of action since after
April.
WrestleMania. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know she's itching to get back in there and be dominant as she is. And it's a thing, like during the stream, Jeff and I had like a debate, which is really good. And
Mhm.
he's a big fan, big proponent of Damage Control, Io Sky, and
Yes.
Kairi Sane and Asuka and all that. And I said to him, to me, Rhea, out of everyone that's wrestling nowadays, Rhea's gonna go down in history as one of the greats.
Oh yeah.
She's
Yeah.
already on that level of like Asuka and all them. And I consider, to me, Asuka is the greatest female wrestler of all time.
Mhm.
I think of Asuka the same light as I think of Eddie Guerrero. Uh,
Yeah.
but that's in a wrestling sense. With Rhea Ripley, she has the wrestling sense that makes her great, but she also has that crossover appeal. We literally had somebody in our chat who is an old friend of mine from my other streaming days who said they literally just started watching wrestling at WrestleMania when they saw Rhea Ripley, and they said, "Who the fuck was
Yeah.
that?" And
She's
that's
in Call of Duty now too.
exactly. I'm
Like
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You don't see Asuka, Kyrie, or Io in Call of Duty. Like
no.
it's Call of fucking Duty. People just buy this shit by default. They really don't do anything extra with these new seasons. They tweak it, a couple
No.
things here or there, but it's a cash grab, and people still buy it. And like my brother, as soon as the bundle came out, he's like, "Bro, I had to stop playing after a couple matches because it's all fucking Rhea Ripley's."
I mean, that sounds great to me,
Yeah,
but
but he's like, there's 1,000 Rhea Ripleys
yeah,
everywhere. You don't know what you're shooting at. You just know you're shooting at Rhea Ripley. She has that
yeah,
crossover appeal that if she chooses to leave wrestling within the next 5-10 years and cross over into Hollywood or whatever, she's
mhm.
gonna be a star. She just
Oh
has
yeah,
that look. And again, I understand where people like Jeff are coming from, where they look at accolades and matches and moments. And
yeah.
yes, that is a metric. However, when I got somebody in my chat saying, yeah, I just started watching wrestling at WrestleMania because I saw this chick, Rhea Ripley, and I had to see what her deal's about, and I'm completely obsessed. And that person is just one of a million that are in the
Yeah.
same boat. Because again, like I said, in our Discord community, there are a bunch of people that are either new fans or not even fans at all, but they know who Rhea Ripley is. You
Yeah,
know?
and you know what the funny thing about what you were saying with your brother and like, oh, it's all Rhea Ripley? The impressive thing about that and the funny thing to note about that, Cody Rhodes and Rey Mysterio are also in that bundle
Yeah,
and saw nothing.
nothing.
Not one of them. All Rhea, which you
It's
know what, I don't blame them. It can made me consider picking up Call of Duty again if I could get out of Skyrim, but yeah, it's just like the fact that everybody is playing as Rhea Ripley,
yeah,
not Cody Rhodes, not Rey Mysterio, Rhea Ripley. That tells you all you need to know.
yeah. And quick side note about the game, isn't it crazy how the Call of Duty devs nailed Rhea, Cody, and Rey Mysterio better than the 2K devs?
Yeah, yeah, they did. Like maybe they should take some notes, but
Yeah, they nailed it. Like they nailed these renders to an incredible degree. And again, you don't see any of the damage control ladies in Call of Duty as awesome as they are, and as awesome as
I would
like
pay money for Dakota to be in
yeah,
Call of
yeah.
Duty.
Could
But
could you imagine Dakota like kicking people's faces off and like
choke stomping them,
yeah, like
yeah.
you're like camping out in a building. You go to turn the corner and fucking Io Sky's doing a moonsault off a building and takes you out. Like
Right on to you. That's the finisher.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
Oh my god.
that would be insane, and that's all great, but they're not in the game. Rhea Ripley's in the game.
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley's in the game. She just has that crossover appeal.
She's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Just fucking cool.
She's just cool. She's just cool. Honestly, think WWE is selling themselves short by not even putting more stock into making Rhea Ripley marketable, because you literally don't have to change anything. Just put her
Not
on
at all.
a poster. Put her on a poster with makeup on, and put her on a poster without makeup on, because she's just as beautiful, she's just as gorgeous, and
Yes.
she's just as relatable. And people will look at that and go, man, again, I don't know who this person is, but they got that thing about them that they just jump off the screen and they command your attention. However, that I don't think that's going to lead to her winning the match at SummerSlam.
No, unfortunately not. But
I don't think so. I don't think so. But again, it's probably to me, it's funny how this became one of like the bloodline story kind of finishes and morphed into something else, and the Judgment Day situation with Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan picked that right back up and said, okay, we're gonna run with that ball right now.
yeah,
It's
it's just been fun from start to finish.
It's insane. It's insane. Now, a match that I am definitely looking forward to, anticipating, because there's an element of relatability for myself. It is the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match between champion Damian Priest, El Campeón, taking on the ring general, the king of the ring, Gunther. And I think this is Gunther's first opportunity at a world title.
I think so. Yeah.
So imagine,
Yeah.
I mean, I actually don't want to see. I went from pretty much
Oh.
thinking it was a foregone conclusion to thinking Damien might pull this one off, but imagine
I hope.
if Gunther gets the job done in his first ever attempt at a world title.
Well, I can tell you somebody that's going to be monumentally
Oh
unhappy.
my god, your mother is gonna fucking
She's gonna be. She's gonna be pissed. You're gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be pissed. But
just a whole room of anger.
literally, though, because it's just like he has finally changed the opinions of a good majority of fans.
Right.
Like we were on the bandwagon from the beginning. Let's be honest.
Right.
We were like, yeah, this is gonna work. Everyone else is just like, what the fuck? Like, he's championship, blah blah blah, whatever. But then it's just like, oh well, actually, maybe he can be relatable. He's just like we said, cool. He just has
Right.
that look of a champion. And so I feel like out of every match on this card, just looking at it, and obviously our Discord agrees, I think this is the one that is the hardest to predict for me
I think so. Yeah.
because on one hand, you can see Gunther winning, and
Hmm.
it's like I hate even saying those words because it's like I don't want it to happen, but you can see it happening because he's just that damn good. However, the way the story's been going, I don't think, at least to me, it wouldn't make sense for it to end that quickly, where it's like you've been having Gunther trash Damien for weeks now, where it's just like, you're just street trash. You're like not on my level. You're beneath me. You're like, you don't deserve that title. You're like not, again, you're just not on my level. So
Hmm.
why wouldn't you want Damien to be like, oh, you think I'm not championship material? Watch me show you I'm championship material and beat him. Can you imagine if Damian Priest beats Gunther clean in front of 60,000 plus people?
Right. And in the end, if that goes that route, Damien gets what he always wanted, which is to prove himself as champion. Because
Yeah.
each time he tries to prove himself as champion, the Judgment Day gets involved.
Yeah.
Somebody else, CM Punk gets involved, and he's just sitting there going, "Bro, I'm trying to do this the right way, and
Yeah.
you guys are screwing me up every single which way." And that's why he needs the Judgment Day to stay in the back and not help him, because he hears the naysayers. And it's not a
Yeah.
thing where it's like, oh, he's listening to the noise and it's getting to him. It's not getting to him. It's getting The only thing that's getting to him is the fact that it exists when it doesn't need to be, because he's doing everything
Yeah.
he's supposed to do to make sure it doesn't exist. It's everybody else that just keeps fucking him up, like
Uh-huh.
screwing with his stuff. Um,
Yeah.
and for me, again, this is a whole relatable thing. Just like Damian Priest, I am a Puerto Rican from the Bronx, and that's what the thing was like last week when Gunther called him street trash. It was like, well, am I street trash too? So
Yeah.
I instantly took offense to that. And the cool thing about it is the next week, Damian said, hey, Gunther, you can call me street trash, but in my mind, I'm a Puerto Rican badass." And
Yeah.
I was like,
You're like, yeah, you are.
yeah, I was like, so am I. Shit, like, like I'm standing
You're
up,
right.
I'm getting ready to throw on my Timbs and head over to the Bronx too. Like, let's go throw down. Like, like
Yeah.
that. It was a sense of, you can say whatever you want about me. It's not gonna affect my mental. It's not gonna affect my confidence in myself. I know who I am. So
Yeah.
it's a sense of, man, I love Gunther. I love what he stands for. I love what he's about. I love his whole aesthetic. But this is one of those things where it's been a long time where I myself, as a person who believes that representation in all forms of entertainment is vitally important, it's been a long time since I personally have felt represented. And not only to have a Puerto Rican world champion, but a Puerto Rican from the Bronx, just like myself,
Yeah.
as world champion, showing that people of my culture can reach the top levels. That to me is just amazing. So to me, like, Damian Priest is going to go down as one of my favorites no matter what. And he's just
Yeah.
fucking bad. Like,
Yeah.
he went in there last week, or the week before, and he didn't even say anything to Gunther. Gunther thought he was going to come back with a retort, an insult, and he
Yep.
just dropped the mic and
Nope.
cracked him in the face. Like, and then the
It was
next week,
great.
yeah, and then the next week he's fucking taking it to Gunther, where Gunther looks like, oh my god, what is happening to me? And stupid Gunther. Maybe if you didn't get rid of Giovanni Vinci, where Ludwig Kaiser was on the shelf, maybe you would have some backup. But
Yeah. Yeah.
you had to be a jerk, so you reap what you sow. And like you said, this, out of all the matches on the card, this is going to be the one that is going to be really, really tough to figure out. I can't figure out which way they're going logically, booking wise, because again, it would be one thing, because at the beginning of this, we were like, it's pretty much a given that Gunther's going to win it. We've been booking it for him to win at SummerSlam for months, and I don't even think Damian Priest was the champion when we started booking him to win at SummerSlam. But WWE did this thing. They did this thing where they were like, we're going to do everything we can to give people the idea, the little inkling that maybe Damian can pull this off. Now, I want to see Damian pull this off in a WWE sense where the fans can't say anything about it except like, I didn't see that coming, but I love that it happened.
Yeah, and so here, and this is my, maybe not fantasy booking, but this is how my ideal scenario of this match would happen. Damian beats Gunther clean. That's like the given. That's what I want to happen. And then you have Finn come out and the Judgment Day come out and everybody's celebrating. Oh yeah, everything's great. Yeah, Damien, you finally did it. And then Finn just cleans his clock,
I
like
love it.
kicks him square in the face.
I love it.
And everyone's just like, what the fuck, dude? What are you doing? And then he just leaves. No explanation, obviously, because why would he? And then inevitably it just comes to, you don't, I mean, I don't want to say like you don't deserve that title because it's kind of just a repeat of the whole Gunther thing, but it's just like, I deserve, okay, let's do that. I deserve to have that title. I deserve to be the leader of the Judgment Day, not you.
Right.
Look at all the shit that happened since Rhea's gone.
Mhm.
Like, you had to have her with you. You let Judgment Day go to shit, essentially, because you were just too busy focusing on yourself. I want that to happen. And so, you know what? I'm just going to flat out say it. Damien Gunther clean. I don't care. It's going to happen. I hope. Because I don't want an alternative. I just want Damien to beat Gunther because the thing is, I think what most people aren't really like realizing, Bash at Berlin's going to be happening when in a couple months, I think.
Right.
Gunther can win it then. But
Yeah.
until then, you need to have Damien have something because, like you said, every single match he's kept this title, he's had help, whether he wanted it or not. So give him just something where it's like, okay, now you're legit, even though he always was legit, but now there's no denying it.
Right.
You beat somebody like fucking Gunther clean. Just give it to him, please.
Right.
I think he's earned it. So yeah, I don't even care. I'm gonna flat out say it. Damien's gonna retain.
Yeah, I'm with you. I want it to happen. It's just for my people,
for your people, for my mom's sanity, like,
and for the people in our Discord, because we have one person in particular in the Discord who's like, it's like when Damien pops up, like her whole world just shuts down. Like,
yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
she's yelling at us in the chat, like, shut up, Damien's on TV. It's crazy.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's mom does the same thing. I'm just
that's exactly what I was telling you. You got to meet Shay's mom because you guys can just talk about your love for Damian Priest for hours.
Literally, like,
Yeah.
and she's got her shirt ready and everything.
Oh, man.
I got her tickets so we could see his like the debut of his documentary. They
Oh,
were
wow.
advertising that.
Oh, wow.
So we get to go see that. So I'm excited to see that. She's going for Damien. I'm going for Rhea because apparently she's going to be there. But
wow.
also Damien too.
That is so cool.
Well, and it was funny because the way it was like working out was originally we kind of hoped it was going to be something like WrestleMania or like WWE World at WrestleMania where it was like a convention kind of thing.
Right.
That wasn't happening. So my mom was just like, what time are you like taking off work on Friday? Like, what are you doing? I'm just like, well, there's nothing. So we might just leave when we're done. Like, I get off work at 4. You just leave from there. It's like an hour and a half, 2 hours to Cleveland. So it's just like, yeah, I guess we don't really need to, whatever. So then last week they announced that thing where it's like Damian Priest, like they're doing the world premiere like of his documentary at this show. Like you can't even get like you can't even use your phones. Like it's that serious. Like they already flat out said on the website of the theater, they're like, your phone's gonna get put in a locked pouch. You can carry the pouch around, but if you try to use your camera or your phone in any way, you either have to go to the tent that you got the pouch from or you get kicked out of the building. Like it is serious shit. So I see that and I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, I guess that answers my question as to when we're leaving because I knew mom wasn't going to pass that up and I wasn't going to make her pass it up. So I like
Right.
sent her the link, and she's like, "Yeah, we're absolutely doing that." And I'm like, "I got it. Don't worry about it." So I got the tickets. I won't be at work on Friday. We're leaving Thursday night now, so because it's at like noon. Because at first I'm like, oh well, if I just leave work early, we could go down and do it. It's probably Friday night. No, it's Friday afternoon. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm just not going to work Fridays. So yeah, we get to see that, and there's like a Q&A panel I think afterwards, so you can like ask them questions or whatever. So I'm looking forward to it. It should be pretty cool. I've always liked WWE's documentaries, so I'm sure Damien's is going to be no different, and it's probably going to make me even more like hoping that he wins that or keeps the title then after watching that. But
Yeah.
I still just hope for all of our sakes. I just hope he I just hope he holds on to that title because just give him the win he deserves, please.
Yeah, yeah, that's all we want. Just what every wrestling fan wants is their favorite to win.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite's already losing, so can we at least give us something?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, that brings us to the main event, and as we said, they're all anticipated matches. This one included. It's the main event, at least in the way that we would put it together. It is Cody Rhodes defending the undisputed WWE Championship against Solo Sikoa, the man who thinks he is the new tribal chief of the Bloodline 2.0, whatever you want to call it. I nothing against Solo, who I think is
Yeah.
really coming to his own in the sense of this or of this story of being the new tribal chief. He's got it clicking. There's no denying he's got it clicking. You see the charisma. It's starting to come naturally where it doesn't seem forced, and he can play that sort of scary kingpin style thing where he's terrorizing people. But I just don't see that
Yeah.
it's his time yet. Maybe this could be like a simple audition for something later on down the road, maybe a year from now or something like that. But as of right
Yeah.
now, it's just Cody's too
Come
hot.
on.
Yeah, like it's Cody Rhodes, so it's like the way I do see it is the way I've been predicting it from the jump. Cody beats Solo clean. The Bloodline 2.0 doesn't like that, so they jump Cody. Jay comes out, tries to help Cody. The numbers are too big. Then comes out the returning Jimmy Uso. Everybody's like, oh shit, it's Jimmy Uso. The Usos are getting back together. Everything looks great, but again, the numbers are too big. You wait a bit. Out comes Paul Heyman strolling out. The crowd is going crazy because it's Paul Heyman, and he stands at the top of the stage, soaks it in real quick, and then it registers in people's heads. Oh shit, it's about to
Yeah.
happen. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, Roman's music hits. He comes out. The roof that is non-existent in Cleveland Brown
Yeah.
Stadium will literally
Yeah.
cease to exist.
Mhm.
Shay and your mom might have a heart attack right there and then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
We
be
might.
I'm gonna be having a heart attack in the Discord watching the show with everybody else. It's just please give me this.
It's gotta be
I need this.
like how sad is it that we're already like, yeah, the match itself I'm sure is going to be fine, but I don't think anybody really cares about the match itself. They kind of care about what might happen afterwards
Right.
cuz like you said, there's no way that Cody's losing that title to Solo Sikoa, whatever. It's like it's more or less just like a okay, let's use this to get to what everybody cares about,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
it's just I mean, we pretty much that's just like the big question. And
Mhm.
so we pretty much got out of the way. Cody's retaining. The big question of this is Roman showing up. I'm going to say yes, he's
Mm.
going to show up.
Yeah,
Because you can't keep having Solo call him out the way he has and then take out Paul Heyman and expect him to just sit around for another 6 months. Like, no, he's coming back at SummerSlam.
yeah. I
I'm
think,
just saying it.
and no one deserved that time off more than Roman Reigns and his family.
Oh yeah.
Because
That poor man.
he literally brought back WWE from the Dark Ages. Um,
Yeah,
so
he
like,
did.
no one deserved that time off to rejuvenate, get healthy again, spend time with his family. And it's just time to be like, oh, okay, we need you to come do what you do, and that's be the best damn wrestler to come out of WWE in the past like 20 years. He's we all Roman. It took a long time for Roman to get to this point because he had a
Yeah.
lot of shit thrown at him that he tried to make work simply because
Yeah.
he wanted to do right by the company. And the company really wasn't doing right by him by fucking pouring dog food on him, making him say things like suffering succotash and all that other
Yeah.
shit.
Oh, God, those days.
And he suffered through all that. He powered through with both feet in the mud to make that work and get to where he's at. So when the opportunity came around to be the tribal chief and really start the bloodline, he was already like, this is what I've been waiting for. I'm going about to blow the roof off every single joint you come to. So, and that's what happens. And now he's going to come back and do it again. And
It's gonna be crazy.
this time he's going to be the Roman Reigns that the old man wanted him to be. He's going to be the cool guy Roman Reigns. He's still going to be
Yeah.
the tribal chief, and he still might even do some psychotic things to make sure he gets what he wants, but he knows he has the respect of the people, and the respect of the people is never going to go away.
Yeah.
So like he knows he's got that, so he's going to use that. And I'm telling you, when he comes back and the OG bloodline is put together, Usos, Roman Reigns, and then I'm telling you, they're gonna need some help, so they have to recruit the honorary Us.
Yeah.
They had,
It's gonna be insane.
and like I said, the one thing that I would love to see is at the end when Roman is back and he takes everybody out and his family's back together, Cody's still in the ring. And Cody,
Yeah.
it's a similar situation to the Brock Lesnar situation where like they had that face-to-face moment and Cody thought the match was still going to go, but it was just that Brock wanted to shake his hand. You're going to get that
Yeah.
same sense, and Cody's still going to be on guard. We're not going to get that moment because the show should just go to black with the crowd going crazy. So that
Yeah.
and,
Oh.
and then
Oh.
and then there was I saw another great point. I don't know, I don't know if you brought this up to me or not. Technically, Roman is not drafted to any brand. Remember, he undeclared himself for the
No,
draft.
that's right. Yeah.
So that's how you set
Oh.
up. That's how you set up the reunion of Jey Uso and Sami Zayn because they're on Raw. Roman can go wherever he wants. He undeclared himself for the draft, so he can show up on Raw and recruit Sami Zayn and do that because again, it's SummerSlam is the WrestleMania of the summer, and Survivor Series is the WrestleMania of the fall. So that leads
Yeah.
into Survivor Series War Games, and you
Yeah.
and you and you
Oh.
build that up. You take all this time because Roman's been gone all this time since April. He's been gone, so he's been gone 4 months. Let's take the months between August and November to start putting the puzzle pieces together. Throughout this time, Roman's still undeclared as to what brand. He might wait till after Summer or Survivor Series to declare what brand he's going to be in. But this
Yeah.
allows Roman to jump between Raw and SmackDown from SummerSlam to Survivor Series as needed.
Yeah.
No handcuff.
Oh. This is gonna be some wild shit. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is gonna be insane. This is gonna be probably one of the craziest endings to a pay-per-view in quite some time.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Yeah, it's gonna be nuts. Yeah, but the big thing for the match, I don't see Cody losing, and I don't see him losing, and I don't even see him winning under nefarious means. I'd see him winning clean, beating Solo, setting up this whole situation with Roman.
Yeah, literally. Like, it's not even a contest.
Yeah, it's gonna be nuts. But that's our SummerSlam predictions preview. I mean, we broke down every single aspect of this show you can break down for this episode. I honestly thought we were only gonna have less than an hour of material for the podcast, and we're hitting about an hour and a half. So you can tell this show
Damn.
is pretty big. Like I said, every single match has a story with multiple layers to it, multiple avenues you can go, multiple Easter eggs, and multiple. Is that something that we should be paying attention to, or is that just something to throw us off? So again, as far as an anticipation level, Triple H knocked this one out of the park.
As he usually does.
Yes, yes. Well, it is time now to get to the particulars of the show, the operations that we have going on here before we get the hell out of here. First, we want to take the time to thank you guys for tuning into the podcast as you've been doing. This is episode 125. I think this is the most episodes I've had with a particular podcast project. So that's pretty cool. And it's all thanks to you guys. And really now, I thought months ago things were taking off. Like after Mania, within the past 2 weeks, things have gotten really crazy. Just so
Popping off.
yeah, we're doing all types of stuff. But first, we want to let you know that you can find this podcast on any podcast platform that's out there. All the major ones like Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, all the Amazon audio avenues, they're available there. Basically, wherever you listen to podcasts, you should be able to find the Ringside Rundown podcast. If you can't find it, then just hit us up on social media. We're available Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Ringside Rundown. Send us a DM saying, hey, I use this platform. Can you get a link for me? One of us will deliver a link on a silver platter, but the caveat is you have to give the silver platter back because we only have one and it's very expensive. Shay doesn't have the money to get a new one. She's going to SummerSlam. She'll be there in person.
Yeah.
And if
I gotta go. I'm gonna go into debt.
Yeah, like her wallet's already screaming at her for summer.
Yes, it is
for SummerSlam. So we can't afford another plate, but we can get you a link to the podcast to make sure you can listen. Like I said, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Ringside Rundown. We're also on YouTube where you can get full episodes, highlights, and our short form content on YouTube at Ringside Run Pod. That's our YouTube channel. And on TikTok is all of our short form content, Ringside_Rundown. If you want to get in touch with me about wrestling or anything of the like, you can follow me on Twitter at Wrestling Chron. That's Wrestling CHRON. Shay, where can they get in touch with you?
Can find me on Twitter at ShayleneHickson21. But now I want to just shout you out for all the stuff you've been doing because just looking at obviously as I'm sitting staring at the Discord and all the stuff you're doing, like you definitely, I may quarterback the show like you say, but behind the scenes you're the one running all this stuff when I'm being my corporate alter ego at my job. So when I had to go be a corporate podcaster, you're the one that's kind of holding everything together behind the scenes. So I definitely appreciate you doing all the heavy lifting. It seems like when I'm off doing important boss stuff, but
well, somebody has to do it. We both can't be unemployed bums, like let me take that mantle. You do all the corporate stuff and I do all this stuff for the Ringside Rundown, which I actually love doing because it honestly it was like a light switch went off and it was like my mother had just gotten out of the rehab facility after suffering a stroke. She was in a rehab facility for 6 months. She's finally home. Thanks. And for me, it's one of those things where you look at it and you go, damn, you realize that like, man, I wish I made something of myself so I could take care of my mother the way she takes care of me. And unfortunately, that was never in my cards for physical limitations and mental limitations. But I love pro wrestling so much that a light switched in my head and said, I can be just as good as everybody, all the great people that are in wrestling media. I can be just as good as them as if I put some effort into what we do. And it's finally, it's for me, it's taking off in the sense where, I'm getting noticed I'm getting reposted by Zelina Vega, Carlito, Lance Archer. Like, it's just insane, all these people. And now it's morphed into, okay, now let's try to build a community, a family behind us, which is why I started the Discord server. Now, the Discord server was just going to be any old wrestling Discord server with the rule that is that there's no judgment on your wrestling knowledge or lack thereof, and there's no sort of tribalism involved. This is a safe space for wrestling fans to be wrestling fans and meet other wrestling fans. For some reason, in my stupid little brain, it clicked in my head, why don't I combine my love for professional wrestling with my love for my favorite TV show of all time, The Sopranos? So somehow in my brain, I figured out a way to combine The Sopranos and wrestling and make a wrestling Sopranos themed Discord server. Shay has the Discord server pulled up, and I wanted to get her reaction to it here on the podcast before anything else. So just quickly, what do you think about the whole Discord?
It is great. I love this. It's like it honestly, I'm glad you did that because if I would have, it would have probably been something Star Wars related, which could have went over a lot of people's heads, but I just love it. Like the books, administration, the front, just the podcast. Yeah, this is all just this is great. I hope you appreciate waste management. I find that one funny with the non-wrestling related
Yeah,
stuff, but
it's waste management. It's the front inside of the front.
it really is though. Also, I hope you appreciate the name that I changed
I love it.
my username to
I,
for the server alone because you'll get it. The fans will like people in the Discord will get it. Nobody else will get it. So I had to like just keep it to
I love
Boss Man of the Black Throne.
I love it because the way the hierarchy is in the Discord, Shay and I are the two bosses. There's only two bosses, Shay and I, which means we have complete access to every single part of the Discord. There's parts of the Discord that the public don't even get to see.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have that available. Like I said, there's people in there from my old streaming days that are just getting back into wrestling because they wanted to support me and they see like, oh man, this stuff is pretty cool, and now they're getting into it, and now we're sharing memes. I have a friend in there from my old streaming days who's become obsessed with the movie The Iron Claw, and so I was
Yeah.
able to give him an entire rundown of the history of the Von Erichs and World Class Championship Wrestling and all the parts that the movie missed, which amplified his love for the Von Erichs and Iron Claw. And then I was like, dude, the Von Erich brothers are wrestling for titles. We're going to watch it. So we watched it. And then Kevin Von Erich comes out and he's freaking like losing mind. He's like, that's Kevin Von Erich. To him, like it's Kevin Von Erich, you know. So like to be able to do that for people to show my love for wrestling and then they kind of gravitate towards it. It's amazing. I've been able to meet people. There's one person in our Discord community. She goes by Riz. She's fantastic. She did all the custom like Sopranos wrestling graphics that you see. She did it like she was like, I could do it, and she just did it. And it was one of those things where in my head I'm like, well, it's gonna probably take a lot of revisions. No, she nails it every single time the first time. For example, the very first graphic you see is the popular graphic of the Sopranos cast in a black background, but instead of the Sopranos, every single face is a different R-Truth face. You know,
it's great.
And then we have one where we got different members of the Sopranos on the heads of the Undisputed Era. You know, like it's just like it's stupid stuff like that in my head. That
please tell me she did something with House of Black. Like,
we got
to do something with House of Black.
We got more coming. Don't you worry. We got more coming. We got plenty of more coming. We're always going to take ideas. But again, the Discord server is available for the public. If you're a wrestling fan that wants to be free of judgment for your wrestling knowledge and doesn't want to deal with the tribalism and just wants to meet other wrestling fans and have fun, please come join this server. It's available. I'll post up a link in the description of the podcast so you can join. We're also running a contest. We have a contest going. Like I said, there are certain parts of the Discord that not everybody has access to. So the contest that we're running is AEW All In, happening August 25th. The important people of the Discord will be watching with me on the show. We're opening up 2 slots in those private access rooms to watch All In for free. For free, that's right, because All In has a $50 price tag, but we're giving 2 people the chance to watch it with us, hang out with us, and watch it for free. And the only thing you have to do to get in on this contest is follow the Twitch account on Twitch, twitch.tv/ringside rundown. Once you follow the account, you're in. You don't have to repost anything. You don't have to tag 2 friends. You don't have to go jumping through hoops. Just simply throw a follow to the Twitch account. Once it's there, we'll put you in the running, and then we'll select 2 winners on Friday, August 23rd, who will be messaged privately with a private link that will give them access to our section, the administration section of the Discord server, and they can join in on the fun, watch All In. It's going to be fun. I'm really excited. As tired as I am, because let me tell you, it's been every day since Tuesday. I haven't gone to bed till after 4 a.m.
That's right before I get up.
Yeah, and it's been a thing like where today I think my body just broke down because there was a point where like my eyes were open, but I
Yeah.
knew nothing was there. You know, I knew,
The lights were on, but nobody
yeah,
was home.
it was just like it
Yeah.
was one moment where I would stop and be like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what's going on? And I mean, it's part of the grind. You hear a lot if you're a content creator, you hear about the grind, the grind, the grind. And I feel like
Yeah.
this is all part of it. And this is kind of the licks I got to take if I want us and the Ringside Rundown to get somewhere. I want our name to be important. And now it is with people from different promotions recognizing the things that we do. I mean, we have former pro wrestlers. We have someone in the Discord now that had a hand in training Trey Miguel, you know, from TNA.
Damn.
You know,
Yeah.
we have a former WWE employee in our Discord server. So it's just like it's growing and growing. We're gonna have a lot of fun things. We do shit like we were watching the movie Terrifier in Discord.
Oh.
We watched 40-Year-Old Virgin and all this other stuff, and we're just hanging out. It's not even, it doesn't even have to be wrestling related. Like there's literally a section of the Discord that is no wrestling allowed. Just talk about games,
Yeah.
music, TV, whatever you want,
Yeah.
and we hang out.
You guys also made me choose between Shane and Dakota while I was in the middle of a
Yeah,
concert.
it was a random thing. Like we just started talking about Shane and Dakota, and then Jeff was in there, and we were like, "Man, we wonder which one Shay prefers over the other." And
It's
we're like,
not
"Yeah,
fair.
well, you know what, Shay, you kind of deserve it. All right,
Oh,
you
whatever,
kind of deserve
whatever.
it because for the first time in our 3-year friendship that we have cultivated." That we have
Mhm.
blossomed into me thinking that Shay is one of my best friends in the entire world. Let me tell you, I can't give you all the details, but this woman, what she did to me, she hit me with an inside joke that I was not privy to, and it
Yeah.
was at the point where I thought all of this, the Ringside Rundown, and
Everything
more
was
importantly, my friendship with Shay was for it's over. It's a
no.
fucking wrap. And I thought that, and she made me sit there and stew in that for like 10 minutes. And then
Yeah, I don't even remember what I was doing when you sent that. I was doing something, but I'm just like, I didn't think anything of
yeah,
it.
that's your problem. You didn't think anything of it. Like,
Exactly.
so she hits me with this inside joke thing. She makes me stew in it for 10 minutes, and then she comes back. Oh no, I was just joking about the situation. This is how it breaks down. It's an inside
Yeah.
joke. And I'm like, Shay, do you understand? It's an inside joke that I'm not a part of. You can't hit me with an inside joke
I'm
that
just so used to literally every one of my friends having the same type of humor. And the problem is, you and I have the same type of humor, just not that one singular thing.
Yeah, so like I was so upset. Like I DM'd your mom on Instagram, like, do you know what your
Yeah.
daughter did to me?
She saw it and she was sitting right next to me and she was just laughing. She's like, "This is funny." And what did you say? You were just like, "Yeah, I had nowhere else to go." And I'm like, "Well, guess what? Now you have nowhere to
Yeah,
go.
I
Like,
literally
you're
I thought
done."
it was over. I thought the bricks of the Ringside Rundown house were coming down, crashing around me.
It
And the
was
whole time I'm
over.
thinking, well, I'm an idiot. I put my own foot in my mouth. This is what I deserve. And Shay just
No.
casually, like 10 minutes later, like, oh no, I was joking, bro. That was a joke. Like,
Yeah.
what the oh my god.
That is also my type of humor too, where it's just like maybe not to that degree where I make you like so uncomfortable, but it's like I'll say something, and I guess I have a knack for doing this with people where it's like I'll say something, 9 times out of 10 it's more sarcasm than anything, where they'll just like sit there and they're like, "Wait a minute, did you actually mean that?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "No, no, I didn't." Anyway, and I just
No.
like move on like it's nothing, and they're like, "Sometimes I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or if you're
Right.
telling the truth." And I'm like, "That's the point.
Listen,
Like, that's the fun of it." Like,
I am as or sarcastic of the type of person there is when I tell you when you hit me with that one line of the joke and then disappeared, my heart,
just went.
yeah,
Yeah.
my heart was just like, well, what do I do? It's over. Everything is over.
Everything is
Everything is
just that's
over.
it.
I've been doing this past work, so much work for the past week, and it's just done. It's done. You know, so don't ever do that to me again. All right.
I'll do my best, or if I say it, I will immediately follow with "It's a joke, don't worry
Please,
about
please,
it."
please, please, please. Oh my god, but yeah, that's the nature of our friendship, of our partnership, and like I said, I am I am beat the shit, but I'm having a lot of fun meeting people and trying to make waves and just being like, you know what? If people dig it, they dig it. If they don't, screw it. And it's just been a lot of fun. And thankful for everybody who's showing love to everything. I'm thankful for you for just being, because my thing was, I don't want you to think like, oh man, this is way too much, that I wasn't willing to invest in. You're just like, nah, just go crazy. And I'm like, all right, well, let me do what I do then,
Because I know you have it handled. Because, like I said, if I'm not running all over the place on the weekends, I'm working. So it's just like, I know that it's in good hands. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, all right, you do whatever you want to do. You're having fun with it.
Yeah.
I help out when I can.
I'm having fun with it, but I ain't gonna lie. Even for a person that has an IT background, Discord and the semantics and
Yeah.
settings of Discord has been beating my ass. Like,
Yeah, Discord's a bit of a pain
yeah, because like
sometimes.
you have
So,
to, if you want to foster a positive, good community, you have to set it up where you take security measures. Because I was even talking to a friend of
yes.
mine. One of my friends in the Discord just recently had his Discord server hacked, and he had to start from
Ugh.
brand new. And he had a bunch of people. Had another person tell me about working with another Discord, and then their community tried to sabotage our own Discord. It's like craziness. So with that said, the people that are in there now are really, really on guard of new people. We want new people to come in and we want new friends, but you got to understand you're going to be in sort of a vetting process. So if you want
Yeah.
to get in good, because there is a hierarchy, like I said, there's bosses, and then the people that work in the Discord with myself are the underbosses. If you want to get good with the underbosses, at least you have to put in some time in the Discord, make friends, carry a conversation. But don't worry, we're not going to judge you. We're not going to look at you as a new person. We're going to look at you as, come on in, but we got our eyes on you, so don't screw anything up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
watching.
So definitely, I'll be throwing a Discord link up there so you guys can check it out and join in on the fun. And remember, all you got to do to get in on the AEW All In contest, where you can watch AEW All In for free, is simply throw me a follow on Twitch, twitch.tv/ringside rundown. That gets you in the contest. We're picking 2 people to do so. That will be chosen on the 23rd of August to join us August 25th for AEW All In. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a wild
Yeah.
time. So join in.
Join in. So, with that said, I think we've covered everything that we need to cover. This is the SummerSlam episode. It's going to be happening Saturday on Peacock. The pre-show starts at 4. The main show starts at 7. Again, it's going to be a good time. I can't wait to discuss it with you all. So make sure you hit us up on social media. Make sure you share the podcast. Tell all your wrestling friends, family members, your teachers, your bosses, wherever. Tell them to listen to the
Yeah.
Ringside Rundown, because we're doing big things over here and they want to be a part of it.
Yeah, let them know.
Let them know. So for Shay Hickson, I am Erik Vasquez. Thank you for listening to the Ringside Rundown, and we'll check you out on the next episode.
See you later, guys.